Hi, my name is John, and in this series I will be flipping PCs until I build my dream setup. Right now I have around $300 in the bank with some parts already on the way. The goal is to save up at least $5,000 so I can revamp my entire room. I don't have all the parts bought yet, so let's go hunting for some deals. Quickly, I just wanted to let you know that the quality does get better as the video progresses. Already when I start building the first flip, the quality will be better because I have this microphone and a tripod, so everything will be much better. I now have all the parts that I need to finish this build, so I'll get back to you when the parts get here.
So now I finally have everything I need to test the computer, so that's what I'm gonna do. So I just checked the CPU and it doesn't look like there are any bent pins, but as you can see there is a lot of thermal paste on there that I'm gonna have to wipe off. So here's the motherboard. Looking pretty good. I'm just gonna rig up a test rig so that I can see if it works. So the CPU is in, now I'm just gonna see if I can get this in. Was that it? Thought it was gonna be harder. I'm just gonna touch it though. It is a wasnt 3600, so we did not get scanned, so that's very nice. Now let's just see if it works. So I have my test bench here, and it's looking very weird, as you can see, because I don't have all the parts. I don't have the PC or the GPU yet. They arrive tomorrow, and because I only have 24 hours to test the CPU, I'm gonna have to use my own stuff. And I don't have any thermal paste on hand right now. They arrive in a couple days, so I had to use this cooler, which I had some left from when I removed it from this computer. I don't know if that's gonna work, but it's better than nothing, I hope. Let's see if I can do this correctly. Ooh. Okay. It's connected to that monitor, so it should give a post there if it works. Yes! Ooh! Okay, so we do get a post. Amazing. So everything works. Everything that I have. So this was a massive W, so now I'm just gonna flip the power switch behind here so that it turns off. And amazing, it works. So I finally have the next to last thing on the list that I need to build to finally build this thing. I'm just waiting on the thermal paste that arrives later today. But I figured we could start the build a little early, just to test this thing. Let's grab the motherboard. Put that there. So here is the motherboard combo, and I'm just gonna hook this thing up to see if it works. It's the MSI MPG A650GF. This is aim4 platform, so the BIOS could technically go all the way up to the Ryzen 7 5800X3D. Here we have the GTX 1060 that I tested yesterday. Let's see if it explodes. It does not. Let's grab an HDMI cable. When I turn this on, it should give a post into this monitor right here. I'm just gonna unplug it from my computer so that it doesn't mess it up. So let's see. So we do have power. Now, I don't have a cooler yet. I don't have the thermal paste. I do have the cooler, but I don't have the thermal paste. So I'm just gonna see if it posts with this power supply, because then I know it's good. Whatever the power pins does. See you staying one. Pretty quick. We do get a post, amazing. Okay, so the entire build works. I just flipped it off. It's not make the CPU overheat. The build should be good to go. I'll get back to you when the thermal paste arrives later today. So now, as you can see, we have the thermal paste, and let's get the build done. Cooler. Now, however, I can't seem to find a screw for the SSD, but I'm gonna check in the case later, in the box of the case. All the fans are spinning, both the GPU and the CPU fans are spinning. ASUS. Let's see if I can get into BIOS. Nice. What's the CPU temperature? Ooh, it's climbing. It's climbing 57. That is not ideal temps, but it posts, so that's good. I can start putting it together, redo the paste. We'll see. I'll start it up. I'll get it into Windows and then we'll see. So here is the case that I will be using for this build. Like I said before, it's the Deepcool Matrix 43FS. It's an M80X case. So here we have the case itself. It comes pre-installed with two 120s in the front and one in the back. Yeah, I could definitely fit 360 in front if you so wanted. But for this build I'm not going to, because I don't have any other fans. And this is more than enough, I hope. Now you might be wondering why I have the 24 pin still connected. And that is just because I couldn't get it off. Ooh, almost forgot. I/O shield. It's very important actually. So now I finally got the motherboard inside the case. It was a real struggle, but I finally managed to do it. So now let's mount the PSU and put the graphics card in, and let's get this thing started. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pre-wire all the cables. The 24 pin is already in, and this is the CPU cable. Plug in like that, and then run behind here, of course. Perfect. The GPU cable, I'm just gonna throw this through here until I have the actual GPU in. The A650GF 80 plus gold MSI. There we go, PSU is installed. Nice. Now let's see if I did plug the cables in right. Okay, so the fans don't spin, but that's no worries, because I just didn't plug them in to the motherboard. We'll see if it does post. Amazing. I do have, however, not have any operating system installed, so I'm gonna fix that now. So the listing is done. I listed it for $500. Now I don't know if that's a good price or a bad price, but I bought it for around $370. So expect, if I can get it sold for asking price, that's $130 in profit, which is great for a first flip, and especially in this tier. So hopefully that will be achievable. But if not, then I'm okay with breaking even, because this build was more about just learning than actually making profit.
So performance-wise, as you can see, it's doing pretty well, hovering around 150 to 200 FPS in 1080p with competitive settings. Now Fortnite is a great title to test because it's still pretty popular and it attracts buyers. Now watch me get completely destroyed by some 8-year-old.
Ah, okay.
So the computer finally sold. This guy messaged me and said he was interested, so we talked a bit about the PC, and he ended up coming over to check it out. And he ended up buying it, so which is great, because it gives me profit. He bought it for $420 and I only paid $340 to build it. Even though I did pay a little too much for this computer to build, I still ended up with profit, and profit's profit no matter what. So I'd say that my first flip is a fat W. So I have some pretty bad news, and that is I forgot to take out the mouse receiver for my mouse from the computer that I just sold. So the guy is currently driving home with my mouse receiver, so I can't use my mouse. I just messaged him, so hopefully he's not too far out and he can turn around and can't come back with it. This did not go as planned. And the final sale price was $420. So now I have around $1,000 to spend on my next build, because I sold this computer today for $420, and I also got my paycheck. So I have around $1,000 to spend on parts, but I already have some parts. I already have one PSU, the A650GF. I have one Deepcool AG400 CPU cooler, it's an air cooler, and one just regular AMD stock cooler. And I have two cases, the NZXT H6 Flow RGB, and I just bought an H5 Elite with two RGB fans and one just regular non-RGB fan. So that's the current inventory. The H5 Elite is still being shipped, but it should be here in a couple of days. And what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna start looking for some more deals. So that's about it. Thank you for watching this video. If you want to see more stuff like this, then make sure to subscribe and like this video. Thank you for watching.